But anyway, it's good to see you. Um, so yeah, I'm going to get into it 'cause I don't want to make us too late. There's there's been lots happening just in the past couple of days. It's all got a bit exciting, hasn't it, with Bitcoin shooting some stars there. Let me just go and grab the trading chart. Hang on. So that's where she stands right now, around about 90, just under 94,000. In the past week, up 11.5%. That's a lovely, healthy picture. It's so nice to be able to post a chart like that again. I haven't been able to do that for quite some time because Bitcoin has been, well, as I said last week, it's a bit meh. It's not doing anything. There's no drama either way. There's no vertical drama, or there's excitement, I should say, vertical excitement, and there's no downward drama. So it's all been a bit, I don't know, bland, shall we say, but stable, which is good, which is good. But this week, past couple of days, she's shot right up. Many people were talking about this breaking out moment that might happen. Didn't know if it was going to happen. Should it go past the 90K? Some are speculating it might go to the 105K mark, which would be great if it does. In terms of causes, well, I've been sort of nosying around to try and work out what's going on, possibly to do with better relations appearing to emerge between China and America. Hopefully, the tariff war might be slowly coming to an end. Don't know yet. We'll have to see where it goes. But some optimism around that, which may have triggered this. Of course, it might be absolutely nothing to do with the traditional markets. It could just be doing what Bitcoin does. Speaking to Solo about that earlier, Bitcoin does these things. It has its own unique cycles. Not everything has a kind of root cause when it comes to Bitcoin. Um, the other thing I was the other person I talked to about this last night was was anti-socialist. Now he puts forward something I haven't really looked into much before, and it's about these FRNs, the Federal Reserve notes. And I hadn't really factored this in before, so I really don't know much about them. I mean, I don't know whether he would be prepared to come on mic to elaborate, but let me just give you a brief rundown of what he was trying to explain. He thought that there may be some kind of dollar collapse on the way, and not the US dollar, but in terms of these FRNs, these Federal Reserve notes, which I assume that are some kind of government issued bond or something like that. It's to do with the Federal Reserve. Obviously, they are Federal Reserve notes, and the Federal Reserve is not federal. And this is the angle he was coming from, and they have no reserves basically. It's kind of how the banking elites managed to control all of us. And he thought, and he is surmising that maybe there could be some sort of collapse within the FRNs on the way. Now, I don't know too much about Federal Reserve notes. Solo, do you know much about them?
Well, yeah, it's basically forms of debt through the government that they issue, promising to pay it back.
Yeah, so as we know, most modern economies are built on debt, aren't they? That's basically, I mean, what backs for example, in my country, the pound sterling, the only thing that gives it that backing is government debt, as far as I can see. And that's the way it's gone since we're not on the gold standard anymore. So I assume, therefore, anti-socialist. I don't know whether you could just elaborate on what you were saying here. Why you thought there may be some kind of collapse within FRNs on the way. I mean, can you jump on mic? You don't really come on mic, do you? Do you want to put up a a bit of text in the chat just to elaborate? Because it's funny. Go on, Solo.
I was just saying he'll probably have to type it out.
That's fair enough. Okay, so they print money from nothing, yes, as they have often done, not always, but often. Add interest and expects to pay back more than exists. It's a fraud, and it was yes, absolutely. Yeah, totally agree with that. But what made you think there was this collapse on the way within the FRN market? I'm not quite sure why. Is it simply um, because we were talking about Bitcoin bouncing and we were enjoying this rally? What was the link there? What was the correlation you were trying to draw there? Because it could well be what you're saying, by the way. I'm certainly not discounting it, but I don't know that much enough about. See, over here we don't have FRNs. We have gilts. We have, well, gold obviously, but we have bonds, and this is the main thing we use over here. The Hive might be able to elaborate a bit more. The only way they can maintain, hold, and provide additional revenue for the masses with, yes, absolutely. I mean, look, what I've been getting into, anti-social, when the Russians were cut off from the SWIFT. Right. Okay. See, I would love to dig deeper with you, anti-socialist. Any chance you can just jump on mic? Because I know you've done it before. You know, you're not totally averse to jumping on mic, are you? Because it'd be nice to drill down on some of this. Because I've been actually chatting away with ChatGPT. Oh, I have, Solo. I've heard him talk once. Oh, yes, I've had that honor. I've had that privilege in a former existence. That's fair enough if he doesn't want to. Don't worry. Why would I hold FRNs when I could hold silver? Yes, okay, fine. Yes, plenty of. Why would Russia use FRNs in trade when they could be cut off at any time? Yes, absolutely. Russia does not want to be dependent on Western debt. There is no doubt about that. This was all part of why they kicked out the West. Well, why Putin kicked out the West when he realized what the hell they were trying to do to his country. He realized he didn't want to be reliant on Western debt. And in terms of debt in general, I think Russia has one of the lowest debts in the world. Um, so they're doing some very clever things over there. Yeah, China as well, or any other country. Yeah, I mean, this is really is a kind of a show in and of itself to get into this. And what I was just about to say was I've been chatting away with ChatGPT, and do you know what? Some of the conversations that I'm having with this AI chat bot thing, I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, have used it at some stage, gets quite deep, you know. It is, I mean, I don't know, Solo, whether you've been on ChatGPT and tried to ask questions about the financial system or the economy. Have you ever done that at all?
Yeah, I like to use I Ask AI, which is just a free web-based AI that you can ask questions and insert prompts. I use it a lot. I use it in gardening. I use it in things I'm doing around the farm. I do it in all kinds of things. Haven't done it much for Bitcoin or really stuff like that, but mostly just trying to find things that I don't know a lot about, and it helps to aggregate all that.
Oh, it does for sure. Yeah, I can imagine it could probably help you with all of that stuff. But you know, in terms of what anti-socialist was talking about there, you start talking to Chat GPT or Grok about FRNs or government bonds or gilts or printing money. I mean, gosh, you really do start to understand a little bit more about what's going on in this world, and a lot of it's quite depressing. I haven't brought in crypto yet. Looking forward to that. Might even publish some of these conversations because I think, given my own personal background, which well, there was some law there, some serious law there, which I managed in terms of degree, but managed to resist in terms of profession. Um, and I enjoy. I've got a creative side as well. But the one thing that the gap in my knowledge bank that was seriously there was a serious gap, and I only realised that in 2017 when I discovered crypto, was my understanding and knowledge around finance. And it sounds so dull and boring, and I can totally get why people avoid it. But Jesus Christ, you need some financial understanding of this world in order to survive, as far as I'm concerned. I just wish I'd got into finance sooner. Sounds dull and boring, doesn't it, Solo? But do you know what I mean? You've got to have some understanding of this whole system.
Absolutely. My first exposure in the financial system was actually crypto. I got involved in that before I really started buying traditional stocks. I've always had an IRA and I always put funds into that, but I wasn't really actively paying attention till after I got into Bitcoin and altcoins. And the first thing I found interesting was with the stock market. I'm like, oh, they close at the end of the day. Oh, they're closed on the weekends and holidays. That's strange. With Bitcoin, they're always open. And like when you do a wire transfer to these institutions, it can take like a week. Like Bitcoin, it takes an hour. So it would kind of like I was downgrading my expectations moving to the modern financial or the global financial market when I first started with Bitcoin and altcoins as my foundation.
Oh, that is fascinating because I mean, you know, when you so when did your interest so basically crypto triggered your wider interest in finance in general? Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah, I've been into technology heavily. I've always been involved in like the cutting edge systems like BitTorrent and other types of decentralized systems. So when Bitcoin came along and along with different altcoin projects, I was utterly fascinated. And I didn't really care much about finance in that time. until I made a significant amount in Dash at the time, which was known as Dartcoin, and I needed to put that money into something, and I moved it into stocks. And from there, I learned a lot more about stocks after making it pretty big in altcoins.
Awesome. I mean, that is, yeah. I mean, it is odd in a way when you look at the traditional markets and the fact that they're open like Monday to Friday and they close at 5 p.m. They got the weekends off. Um, I don't know. I must admit that I think there are some pluses to that because you're not constantly watching Bitcoin, are you? You know, you do get some time off when it comes to conventional markets, don't you?
Yeah, it's interesting seeing how things are open and closed, and also the circuit breakers that are on traditional markets do not exist in crypto. Like I think if the Nasdaq goes down more than 7 or 8% in one day, they halt trading. There's no such thing as Bitcoin halting trading. That does not exist.
Okay, so just to let you know, you went a bit muffled there. I don't know if you did something, but I think we caught most of what you said. I,
Oh damn, my hand must be holding the microphone funny. I was just saying the financial markets have circuit breakers that will trip if the markets fall too low in one day. But with Bitcoin, that's non-existent. You'll never hear in the news Bitcoin trading halted because of drop in price.
no, you won't. I mean, look, that is the beauty in a way of crypto and Bitcoin. It is just this constantly changing, evolving creature, and it is susceptible to all sorts of things, and it's open for everyone. So yes, the comparison. I mean, just talking about what's going on with conventional markets. I must admit, I haven't had my eye on too much on what's been going on. You've often got your eye on the traditional markets. What's been going on in the past week, Solo?
Well, I mainly just watch what Bitcoin's doing and then look at what the Nasdaq and S&P is doing. A lot of times they're correlated. Other times it looks like there's a decoupling happening. And I think this is one of those cases where it looks like Bitcoin's going up a lot more than the traditional markets. When you normally see them kind of walk lockstep together as they go up or as they go down. Like when we saw that recent crash in the price of all the global markets, Bitcoin also took a tumble. I think it went all the way down into the 70s, and now we're back into the 90s. So we've had quite the ripsaw effect on the upwards and downwards and everywhere in between.
So just summarize what I mean, what do you think may have caused this latest surge for Bitcoin then? What do you think's behind it? Is it the fact that the relationship between China and America is warming a bit more, and this trade war is getting a little bit less intense? Is it to do with that? Is it just to do with Bitcoin just doing what it does organically? What do you put it down to?
I think Bitcoin got majorly oversold when we saw the crash happen a few weeks ago. And I think people have been buying it up like crazy, including Sailor. And from that, I think the price has quickly risen up, quickly back to where it was before it dropped really hard.
Yes, well, whatever is behind it, it is wonderful to see it in back in the green again, back in the mid 90s. Where do you reckon it's going to go from here? Go on, I'll put you on the spot.
Oh, I think it's going to keep going up into the hundreds. If you check out Bitcoin Talk, where a lot of the OG Bitcoiners hang out, they're expecting this like summer through the fall is when they think this big run up's going to occur. Of course, there are people saying the opposite, like, "Oh, it's over." But I mean, that's happened every year. I'm kind of watching the people that have really old accounts on there, like 2014, 2013 accounts, and they have pretty good knowledge.
What's that source you're talking about?
Bitcoin Talk, which is a website where you can keep an eye on altcoin and Bitcoin discussion. There's something called the Wall Observer, and it's basically they're just watching the price walls and talking about movements of them.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I must admit, I don't follow that, but do you know what? I may have to add that to the list. Whack a link into the chat, would you, Solo? Because I'm going to come back to that when I'm on quite a few. But do you know what? I don't follow That still exists, BTC Talk. So it's quite an old one. Yeah, go on, whack it into the chat, Solo, because
Yeah.
PH didn't even know it exists still. He thought it had gone.
Oh
Um,
no, it's still around, definitely.
okay, cool. I'm gonna have to take a look at that. The Hive. I just want to go over to the Hive if he's talking this week and just see if he's got anything to say about what's been going on with Bitcoin, if he's got anything to add. The Hive, are you talking?
Uh, Bitcoin, my opinion on Bitcoin doesn't change. I expect Bitcoin to just go up in price. And during that time it's going up, it's going to have dips. But yeah, if you want to invest in Bitcoin, it's invest your amount now and decide now what the amount is you want to cash out at. When it comes to that point, cash it out. Theoretically, you're better off doing that in 10% increments. So every time Bitcoin goes up by 50%, cash out 10%. If it goes up another 50% from that point, cash out another 10%. And that's where you make your money.
Can I ask, is that your personal strategy as well?
That would be a strategy or a strategy along them lines. That won't be something like what a professional financial advisor is going to give you. That if you do put money into anything, as it goes up in value at certain percentages, you cash out a percentage of what you put in. Any financial advisor that does not give you that advice ain't worth his salt.
Okay, wise words. Thank you, the Hive. Appreciate that. Maybe you should go into financial advising. Um, yeah, good strategy, solid strategy, I would say. By the way, does anybody know that CoinDesk is reporting today that Bitcoin has become the fifth largest global asset, surpassing Google's market cap, which I thought was quite eye-catching, which is quite an achievement for Bitcoin. Did you hear about that, Solo?
No, I have not. That's great news. I know Bitcoin has been setting records for financial transactions in a year. Like, I think they surpassed the major Visa and MasterCard networks. And now their market cap as well. It's approaching some of the biggest companies in the world, which is just amazing. Have you been keeping an eye on Bitcoin's dominance recently?
No, I'm going to check that in a moment. As you know, I was rushing around like a maniac before I got here. Managed to get here just in time. But I'm going to check that. In fact, can you just quickly grab that? Grab us a screenshot or something. I'd like to see what it is.
Yeah, I'll drop it.
So, in terms of market cap, Bitcoin has now reached $1.86 trillion, and that's what's made it overtake Google, which is a colossal amount of money. It is an extraordinary accomplishment for what was, a token that no one knew, no one had any idea where it was going. Oh wow, look at that, Bitcoin! Bloody hell, 63.4%. Wow, we're not in altcoin season yet, are we? No, no, we're not. Solo. Oh, he's typing. What's he got next?
Yeah, so I've left a cursor on the point the last time Bitcoin's dominance was in the not the high 60s, but in the 60s, and that was almost 4 years ago. So just take a look at that, and you can see the altcoin rise around that time, and Ethereum taking a major dominance in the market cap. And if you look recently, you'll see a major drop off in the Ethereum's market cap compared to Bitcoin. I think there's a major transition from altcoin to Bitcoin right now. I think that's caused because of fear. And I think fear causes people to put their money in what they consider the hardest asset in crypto, which is going to be Bitcoin.
So this is kind of interesting, but slightly um, worrying a little bit because we want in the end that money to trickle into the alts again, so we can have, and then sort of gush into the alts again, so we can get that altcoin season. At the moment, money clearly from that is moving away from the alts and into Bitcoin. people spooked, maybe people like you've just said there, they see Bitcoin as the safest of the cryptos. So when, in terms of all of this, would you hopefully anticipate a possible, I know it's difficult to answer, but maybe anticipate a possible switch the other way, so the money is moving away from Bitcoin and into the alts?
I think like Indicted said, when we see a major rally in Bitcoin beyond all-time highs, I think we're going to see money start to trickle back into altcoins. People need to get their gains and sell it for something else, and a lot of people are currently at a loss right now or have only had a minor gain. So most people need to see what a probably good 150K, 120K Bitcoin before almost everyone's in the profit at that point, unless you just invested right when the big pump happened. And then people are going to move that money into altcoins. So I think we're going to see a major Bitcoin pump burst before we see any kind of alt season happen.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's usually the way it goes. I just hope that within this 4-year cycle, we are going to see that, because don't forget, 2025, as I was speaking about a few weeks ago when I was doing that comparison, that comparative, I was trying to show this comparative context with the previous two um, moons that we've had when it or bull runs when the halvings happened. Don't forget that 2025 is mirroring 2017 more rather than 2021. So, and don't forget also that in 2017, the bull run then came towards the end of the year. So let's hope, fingers crossed, it's going to be mirroring that movement, because at the moment we're clearly not 2021 territory. Anyway, that's just for reference points. Good stuff there. Thank you for that. I wanted to talk about Fartcoin. That's just hilarious. I suppose there is a Fartcoin. There must be a Fartcoin. Is it Menno? Is it is this some sort of like mem? I assume it's a mem coin or something. Yeah, is that it? I don't know if you can hear me if you're there, Menno, but maybe elaborate on Fartcoin. If it is a great name, it almost gives Buckcoins a run for its money, or Buckcoin a run for its money. I think Fartcoin is a bit funnier, but who the fuck is going to invest in Fartcoin? Seriously, Menno, is it, are people seriously investing in this? What's going on with Fartcoin? The Hive. Do you know what? I'll be delighted if we find out that in the end a farmer has created this token. That would be awesome.
It's true. But they've actually developed these bags, and they put these bags on the back end of cows, and it collects the methane, and then they use the methane later to generate energy. So now the methane that the cows produce isn't going into the ozone, and it's actually anti-climate warming because it's reducing the amount of methane and creating free energy.
Is that
And if you
actually?
believe that, bollocks, you believe anything we say.
Are you bullshitting us here, the Hive, or are you high at the moment, or is that true what you just said?
No, that was just a bit of bullshit that came to mind on the spur of the moment because of the conversation, and I couldn't resist.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. But you know what? It would be great if that turned out to be true, and there was a farmer who'd somehow cottoned on to making some extra dosh here. But anyway, um, that we'll have to leave that. I'm going to have to do some more research in Fartcoin. I mean, I know what you're saying, Solo. That Dogecoin people laughed at that, but come on, Fartcoin. You know, can you imagine newsreaders talking about Fartcoin and stuff like that? You've got to have just a modicum of credibility, surely, with the name of the token. No.
There are just some ridiculous names for tokens out there. Fartcoin is not half bad if we're comparing some of the worst named tokens out there.
Okay, all right. I must admit, dog with hat token is by far the funniest I've come across so far. Dog with hat, I like that. Anyway, we're moving into shitcoin territory. That's not what we're here for. So I'm going to move on to something that is definitely not. Oh, by the way, I just want to quickly say, in terms of attendance, don't know whether you've noticed. It's not too bad at the moment. We are. I've been monitoring this with other shows as well. There seems to be a bit of a downward trend with attendance at the moment. I think this generally happens this time of the year actually, because the weather's getting nicer and people seem to be out more and doing things. And it depends on what time this show is on, where you're at. So there might be a little bit of a little drop in attendance here. I noticed it yesterday when I just observed that the other show, what's it called? I've forgotten now. Anyway, Butt Coins and Shadows pub show, the one they do on Tuesday. So
Oh,
there is
Hive Drive.
that's the one. I was looking at that to see if what was going on. So I think, and they're experiencing a little bit of it's a bit quieter for them as well. So don't be phased by that. I think it's just more seasonal than anything else. And next week Menno might not be here because he's going to be back to building guitars. Oh no, you'll be around, but less. Oh yeah, but less. Fair enough. He goes away. Yeah, I don't know. It's just the time of the year. I think that's what it's more to do with. So, as I say, don't be phased by that. Right. I'm going to just move on because time is cracking on. I'm going to move on and just take a look at what our very own native token Hive has been up to. So I'll just put the weekly trading chart in the chat there. Currently at 25 cents, up 2 cents from this time last week, 10%. Nice, good to see. Again, look at that figure, almost in chime with in chime with Bitcoin itself. What was Bitcoin up? About 10.11% or 10, 11%. Hive has almost mirrored the same pattern. So good to see it on the bounce. We haven't seen that for a little while. It's always nice to see the green return. Let's hope it can sustain. In terms of altcoins, well, we were just talking about that before. We've had quite a decent chat about altcoins already. Hopefully, Hive will be part of any altcoin season. I don't see why it wouldn't. Just whenever that may occur. So not to spend too long on Hive. It's just good to see it basically doing what I would expect it to be doing at this stage of the game. So, any thoughts on Hive?
Well, like you said, I think it's kind of mirroring Bitcoin right now. It's good to see when Bitcoin's dominance is rising like that, and we see Bitcoin or a Hive's price as well go up. That's a good sign to me, because normally Bitcoin's dominance rising means altcoins fall. So I think Hive is doing really good compared to other altcoins on the market right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely agree. It's a pretty solid performance as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so I'm just going to say, don't forget later on, in about 20 minutes, I shall be revealing who the next winner of the 10,000 HP delegation is. I shall make that announcement a little later on. So stay tuned for that. Looking forward to that in a bit. But in the meantime, I'm now going to hand over to Solo, who's going to be, I believe, showcasing some more Hive communities. Is that right, Solo?
That is correct. Last time I showed off about 6 different Hive communities, and I have another 5 to show off this week. There are so many good communities out there. I only had a couple to pick from at the time, and then I just said I can definitely keep picking from these lists and keep showing off more. So I have some screenshots to accompany the links. Let me start by dropping in one of the first communities I want to talk about. It is called the Inkwell. And let me also drop the link to how you can access it in PeakD for example, how I do it.
Oh, I've heard about the Inkwell. It's been going for quite some time, the Inkwell, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a good writing community. I'm also going to share another community about writing in the next one. I'm not sure which one is the 5-minute shorts, but I've actually done that myself, where you just set a timer for about 5 minutes and you write about as much as you can in that time and post it. And it's like a good form of short form content, and you can be really creative in it.
Okay, so they do these challenges. That's right. I think I remember that. Who's in charge of that community? Do you know?
I'd have to look at the list here. Let me click on the link and see what it says.
Because I hear a lot of good things about the Inkwell, and it's a
Yeah,
great place to create it.
So I think Agmore and Jaina's there. There's definitely a few admins in that community.
Yeah, I hear good things about the Inkwell, and it's been around for a long time. I think is it Raj 808 also pretty active in there, or was active in there at one point. It's a good one if you're into creative writing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Is it if you don't have a lot of like pictures to show off, but you have a lot of things on your mind, it can be a great community to have an outlet for a great post in that case. I don't think there's anything wrong with writing posts. If that's what you like to do, I think you should do it. I think Hive is actually the perfect place for that because it's completely stored on the blockchain. Unlike our picture posts, where you look on the blockchain, you just see a URL. So if anything, the writing posts are the most immortalized content you'll have on Hive.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's important to stress that I think because we do have a lot of writers. I mean, I like script writing for TV and film, and I must admit I've never posted the Inkwell. I should probably look into that to be honest, but I haven't been posting much about my script writing for quite some time. The crypto has kind of taken over a bit, but yeah, I mean, you're right. If it's just a post which is purely writing, get it up there. Get it out there. It's a great community for expression. I would say.
Definitely. And I have another community to share here. It's called Free Riders, and they are also quite popular here on Hive. You'll notice all these communities have a lot of interactions, active users, and pending rewards. So there's a lot more Hive communities that are just not active right now, but showing off the ones that are active here. So I'm going to
I'm
drop.
gonna draw. Hang on. Don't move on. Hang on. Free writers, is that active? Did you say or not?
Yeah, it's active. If you take a look at the banner there, you can see it has 215 active users, 419 pending rewards. I believe that would be HBD, and 1,100 interactions.
Okay. Got it. And do you know what? When these communities were on Steemit, because I remember this, they often used to put out, which they've taken away on Hive, pending rewards, like for the total of the community. That was a detail that they've removed now, haven't they?
I'm sorry, I was responding to chat there. What was your question again?
I remember when these tribes or communities first sprung up. I believe they started on Steemit and then migrated obviously over to the new chain Hive. They used to put out the total pending rewards. You can see pending rewards as in terms of how many, but they used to have an aggregate figure in terms of dollar. Do you remember that?
No, which front end would that be? Would that be Peak D or like was that like steamit.com?
Oh, maybe it's that's what it's more to do with there. Maybe it was the interface I was using. No, it was just the main Hive, or what was then the main Steemit one. I forget what it was. There used to be a main Steemit front end that most people sort of start on and stuck with. That was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, I think it was Steemit, and then Steam Peak came out of that, which informed into Peak D when the split happened.
Yeah. So look, Articush has just said something very important there, actually, because um, it kind of bothers me a bit how much this AI is taking over and how artificial things are going to get. How is that playing out in these communities? Do you know?
I know there's a lot of people putting these prompts that people have in their posts through AI detectors, and a lot of them are AI. And a lot of times the rewards are removed for the pending posts that have payouts that are still pending. And those people are told not to do it again, especially if the community specifically says not to do it.
So how are you able to detect AI? Because it can't obviously work the same as a plagiarism scanner, surely.
I don't know the actual code of how the mechanism works, but I think it looks for patterns that are only used through AI and not really something that happens with a person writing it, is my guess. But I could not explain exactly how AI detectors work.
Oh, okay. Well, Bookerman just says there GPT-0. Maybe that's I don't know if that's in response to what we're talking about, whether that's some kind of GPT scanner plagiarism thing. I don't know because let's be honest, you can just I could go onto Grok or Chat GPT and say, "Can you please give me a short story based on this and that?" And it just types it all for me. you know. I could just put that, go into these communities, publish that as my own work. Um, A, is that legit? Can you do that? Is that okay to do that? And B, if it is okay, or if it isn't okay, rather, how do you check the plagiarism on that? I don't get it.
Well, supposedly, you can ask these AIs and basically paste in the prompt and ask them, was that written by an AI? And the AI itself can tell if it was written by an AI.
Okay. That's yes, of course. Clever. I didn't think of that.
Besides that, I guess, like I said, I think there's patterns that do not really occur in normal native writing, and those patterns can be picked up and counted over a long amount of pages. And if it gets enough hits on these suspicious patterns, it's flagged as AI. Is my guess.
Fair enough. Okay, cool. Carry on.
All right, let me get the next community here in chat. We're going to move away from writing now, and we're actually going to share a community that Melinda is a part of, which is Feathered Friends. I'm going to drop in the cover here as well. So if you like photography and you like taking pictures of birds, this is the place. I posted here many times and always really thankful that there's a community specifically to bird watching. And yeah, I find whenever I go off my camera, the most common thing I can get pictures of is going to be birds. So I know even if I don't come back with anything else, if I have a couple good bird pictures, I have a good place to share them.
Feathered Friends, eh? This is I've never heard of this one. And do you know what? It's not something I would actively look up, to be honest, until very recently in the past few years where I live now. I live quite, I've told you before, so I live very close to a nature reserve. And do you know what? Living this close, and I've got this balcony which gets me even closer to the nature reserve. I can stand out and see all the birds flying around. Gosh, I'm getting a real lesson in ornithology. Do you know what I mean? It's quite interesting.
Yeah, the thing I noticed where I moved to is the amount of bird activity compared to all the other animals. Like I'll see birds fly by every few minutes, but I might not see a deer for maybe once every few days.
And on the issue of deer, I've only ever heard a deer late at night once, but the other day saw a baby deer. Never seen that before. Lived here for around, well, four odd years now, and magical to see. Lovely little things. Baby deer, fantastic.
Oh wow, did it have spots on it? Normally baby deer are all spotted.
Well, because he was quite far away, I could only tell it was a baby simply because of the size. And no, it's not because he was literally too far away. I can factor that in easy. But no, it was a baby deer. You could tell easily.
That's really cool. I've seen baby deer as well, and it's always quite the sight to see. So I have another community to share whenever we're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
So we're going to move on from nature here to moving on to specialty food communities. I discovered or I discussed Foodie last time, which is a food community where you can post all kinds of food things. But what we have here is something more specific to coffee and probably teas and other kinds of drinks. So what I like about this community is you can post like I was saying, all kinds of different things, not specific to like one type of drink. So you can do like mixed coffees or can't think of anything else besides coffee or teas, but it's definitely a good community for that.
I'm just looking through it. I've got to put this into the chat. Take a look at this mug. Nice. I like that.
There you go. So like it's not just coffee, but it's showing off your coffee hardware and your mugs. And There's quite a culture to coffee, and I think they've captured it quite well in these communities. So I'm really thankful Millie created this. Looks back in January 31st, 2021. So it's been around for a while, and I don't think I posted to it, but it's a great idea.
It is. You're right. It is a great idea. There is a whole culture built up around coffee. Let's be honest. And I mean, I'm massively into coffee. I like organic coffee when I can, and I like fine. I like basically bean to cup coffee. I've got my own bean to cup um, maker. Basically, you chuck the beans in, it grinds it up, and it makes coffee. It's delicious. It's lovely. And that's what I'm into. And there is coffee. I think is really important. I think it's fantastic coffee. So yeah, I think that's an interesting one to look at if you're into coffee for sure.
Yeah, I love coffee too. I grind up my beans and I put it through a percolator, and then I take butter and I blend the coffee and butter together to basically give me a natural creamer, and that's how I like it.
Oh my word, I've heard about this. Do you know what? There was a guy who used to post about, I can't remember what the term for it is, and you literally put in like half a pack of butter and you mix it in with your coffee, and it's called something. It's like damn,
It
what
was
was it called?
bulletproof coffee, I think.
That was it, bulletproof coffee, something like that. I mean, it must taste amazing, I would imagine, but wow, fair bit of fat in that one.
Yeah, I don't put a whole stick in. I put maybe a tablespoon or two, but I really like it. I've tried it with coconut oil as well, and other things like MCT oil, but now I just stick with some unsalted butter, and I like it with no sugar. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a whole with the bulletproof coffee. I don't think you put in a whole pack of or a whole block of butter. It's half a block or something. But my word, is it a lot? Way too much, my opinion. But in terms of coffee itself, um, relatively healthy, I think, as long as you're not drinking too much. I have to have a drop of milk with mine, but I've managed. I can't believe I did it, but years ago, there's no way I could even consider drinking coffee without one sugar. But I don't know what it was. It changed about 10 years ago. So now I can't drink coffee with sugar. Coffee is just great by itself.
Yeah, I have some every morning. My routine usually is to make some breakfast, eat, then I have my coffee, and I usually have some cannabis as well. Coffee and cannabis, they go hand in hand for anyone that likes both.
Okay, they sound like they could be the perfect match, maybe.
They are. The coffee brings you up, and then the cannabis kind of mellows you down just enough where you can get some good work done.
You've got the good, the perfect balance there. That's good to hear. Menno, you surely don't drink 10 cups of coffee a day, do you? Yes, the Hive, you're right. The guy who was doing the bulletproof coffees always used Kerrygold. So there must be something going on with Kerrygold. I like Kerrygold, but unfortunately, because it's not organic, I don't eat it anymore, but it is delicious butter.
Yeah, definitely. It's something the unsalted butters, it's what I've been using probably for a good 10 years now and how I make my coffee. I do it every morning.
Oh man, just seeing that Kerrygold, just oh Christ, it makes me want to just like do some toast or something because Kerrygold butter, it is just amazing. Okay, Menno, well, I'm glad you've cut back a bit because maybe 10 cups of coffee a day probably isn't too great for you. You're drinking one right now. Well, enjoy that one, but good to know you're trimming back a bit. It's how he climbs up trees. Is that your job, Menno? Do you have a day job where you climb up trees? Is that what you're saying? I don't know. He's being elusive. We'll leave it. We'll leave it there. Okay, so carry
All right, I have one more community to share for the day. It is known as Hive Pets, which is a place where you can share pictures of your dog, your cat, your pet lizard, your pet pig, your pet giraffe, pet elephant, rhinoceros, whatever. And it's a great place to make friends with other animals as well. And I haven't really posted much to it, honestly, but I know a lot of people like to use the Hive Pets.
Is there any animal that's banned from this community?
That's a good question. Let me check the rules here. Let's see. Um, It says it must be in English. Do not tolerate plagiarism or any kind of abuse. At least 300 words, and this is not a photo only community, so no banned animals.
Okay, that's good to know. So basically, any animal whatsoever, whack it in.
Exactly. I guess it can be a farm animal or it can be one of your house pets. I see someone put some pictures of some goats in a post, so I think it's all acceptable.
Oh, I'm looking at all sorts. I'm looking at yeah, all sorts of animals. Quite a lot about dogs and cats, understandably. But yeah, it's good to see they've got a whole host of different animals. It's like a kind of scrolling through their main page here. It's like I don't know. I feel like I'm at the zoo or something.
Yeah, that's what I love about Hive. You can just see all kinds of diversity in people's pets. Like around the world, like people have different pets than I have in America or you might have in the UK. Some people have some very strange pets, otherwise illegal pets for us to own.
Yeah, well, this is it. I was looking to see if there's anything pretty radical on there. I haven't come across that just yet, but I was just about to put a post of some fantastic donkeys into the chat, but Discord won't allow me. So the way I get around that is I post it to Hive and then I'll put it into Discord. Bear with me.
Nice. Yeah, I think any kind of animal is definitely acceptable in this community, it looks like. So it's definitely fun looking through as some of them are really funny posts, as animals can be really silly sometimes.
Oh, they can. They can, oh, and they can be great. I think pets are fantastic. There you go. Take a look at those. I think they're donkeys. They're like the one on the right.
Nice. That's a great capture.
Yeah, absolutely. Donkeys are great. Be careful though, because they can kick, and their kick can be pretty nasty.
Yeah, and they can step on you too. I hear that some donkeys are mean, and like if you get your foot near them, they'll step on your foot and crush it.
Oh, cheeky donkeys.
Yeah, they're smart.
Have you ever, TX Racer is asking, ever seen donkey basketball? Oh man, no, I haven't, but I would like to see that. Please tell me that exists.
I've never heard of that. That's crazy.
Menno, I can totally see you riding a donkey without a saddle. I don't know why. I can just picture that beautifully. TX Racer, yeah, do that because I'd like to see donkey basketball. I'm not even sure if it exists. I don't know if you're just messing around, but I hope it does exist anyway.
That's crazy. I saw a GIF recently of this kid riding on a pig with no saddle. He was just holding on to the skin of the pig. It was like a 5-year-old kid and a big pig. I'm sure the pig didn't even notice him on his back.
Awesome. Where did you see that?
Just some GIF website. I think like Imgur or some other website that I browse through.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I bet you can, man. After 10 cups of coffee, get on that donkey, no saddle required. You're pumped up with all that caffeine. You're good to go.
Man, pigs can get really big. They get kind of scary. When if it weighs more than me, I'm a little worried.
Yeah, I've heard they can become quite huge. Um, well, there we go. Fantastic. Great community that I must admit. Gosh, I really should try visiting these more when I get more time. Any more communities for a solo?
No, that is it for this week. But I can surely gather like another 5, probably for a few more episodes. But I'm going to try to space out some other talks as well. But I'm surely going to come back with some more communities soon.
Yeah, good to know because let's be honest, there are quite a lot of communities on Hive. Let's be honest. I think some are more prominent than others. Whenever you do these showcases, I always discover at least, I would say, 2, maybe 3, maybe even 4 that I'd never even heard of. So yeah, it's good to do this showcasing because there is so much interesting stuff going on the Hive blockchain. It's an incredible place. It's so innovative. So many different things going on. So thanks for showcasing those communities. In terms of wrapping up, oh, Articus, you trying to come in?
Hey, I just want to say, like, are you leaving it right now?
Yeah, you're coming through nice and clear.
God damn, I thought you were gonna stay around for a little bit and consider everything we were talking about. We're having so much fun.
Well, we're not going anywhere just yet. Why? Is there anything you wanted us to bring in? That's a big pig, Menno.
I
Articus,
want to say that it's a great opportunity for everybody to jump in and like have their work on. Just wanted to say hi, you know.
yeah. Well, good to see you, Articus. I mean, what we'll do? We have like this official show which goes on for an hour. That's like the official bit, and then we have this kind of after parties sort of thing, after show, where people can just chat about whatever.
Exactly. Like, I didn't want to go on exact show.
Yeah, we'll announce it in a few minutes. And but I think you have some more news to give Piece of Money. Didn't you have an announcement to make as well?
Yes, I do, Solo. You don't have to steal my thunder like that. But anyway, now that you've done it, yes, but hopefully, Articus, that explains that. So we have like the official show, and then we'll wrap up, and then we have a kind of after show, and we can talk about whatever you want in that part. But yes, we are nearing the end. Yeah. We are nearing the end of the show, and I've just sort of seen a picture of a huge pig. Jesus Christ, that would scare the shit out of me, Menno. Can they really get that big, or has that been modified, that picture?
That's huge.
It's scary huge. It's like, oh my word. But just think of the amount of sausages you can get from him. Blimey.
That's probably a good 500-600 pounds of pig right there.
Yeah, that's a big pig. As I say, great, but a bit scary. I didn't realize they could get that big actually.
I wouldn't be in a pen with it. I would not trust it, honestly. I'm sure that they grew up with them, but man, that pig could kill me.
Yeah. And there's somebody else riding a pig, I think. It can eat a human. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's worrying, I have to say. There was just one more picture I want to quickly grab from this, because this this is good. He's brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, cute doggo. I'm telling you, Hive Pets is a great place to just look for cute content. Just like the internet and cats go hand in hand together, so does Hive Pets and the blockchain.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I hate to do this. I've got one more. I'm just going to get this in. Oh, damn. Even Hive won't accept that one. Oh, that's a shame. There is a picture of an iguana. Have you seen that one?
No, I haven't. I can try to pull it up. Let me pull up Hive Pets real quick. All right, I'm on there now. I'm seeing if I can find an iguana. Oh, okay, I see it. Yep.
I've put the link in the chat. You can just about see it there. That's quite an exotic creature. That I'm fascinated by these types of creatures. Don't know why, but I just am.
That is really cool.
It is indeed. So there we go. I think we've exhausted our pets. segment of the show. I'm going to move on to wrap up because it's time to let people know who is the next winner of the 10,000 HP delegation. And I'm delighted to announce that it's going to be our very own anti-socialist, because he does some extraordinary things in this community. I would say that's the way I would put it. He and he's completely loyal. He's trying to do good things for the Hive ecosystem. You are a winner, Zanti Socialist. You are indeed a winner on this occasion. You've pulled the long straw. So well done. You're yeah. But yeah, you deserve it, dude. So enjoy that. That will be applied at the start of next month. So another week to go, and then it's yours. So don't forget, you get to keep that for the whole month. So enjoy. You do some good things around the community, and I know you're pretty keen on trying to get Hive to this really, really solid, promising, positive destination. And good luck with your efforts there, because you put in a lot of work. And I'm also very, as you know, I think a lot of us are also pretty keen on your worldly views, shall we say, your societal and political views, which certainly give me food for thought. So enjoy that. Glad you're here to show up to accept it. And yeah, I shall let Guilty Parties know, and he will apply that to your account later on. And there we go. That's the next winner of the 10,000 HP delegation that we give out each month, and you get to keep for a month. So enjoy. So a little teaser. Do you know what, for the teaser? Because just to say, okay, I'll start the teaser, and then I'll let Solo continue the teaser. We're going to be changing things up soon with the Crypto and Cola show. There's going to be a reboot, should we say? So that's going to be happening in the next few weeks. Not right now, but in the next few weeks, we're going to do a reboot of the Crypto and Cola show, and the delegation. Just to put a little, as I said, teaser out there. The delegation's going to get very exciting indeed. That's all I'm going to say. Solo, anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
No, but it's going to be some really good news, and I think people will be very interested in that delegation. Not that they're not now, but we're definitely raising the stakes.
Exactly. And we shall say no more at this stage. And on that merry, jolly note, that is it for this week. Our hour is up. Thank you to everybody who's turned up. Really appreciate it. Good to see you. And hopefully you'll join us again next week for another Crypto and Cola show. And Solo, anything you want to say?
No, it's been another great week. Let's see where Bitcoin goes. I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about 100K Bitcoin next week. So let's hope so.
Oh yes, absolutely. Let's send out the good vibes there for that one. Looking forward to seeing if that materializes. Fingers crossed. That would be awesome. Hang on, Articush. I know you're keen to come in, but I'm just going to wrap up the show, and then you can talk, my friend. You can talk the night away. But there we go. That's it for another week. Thank you to everybody who's shown up. Good to see you guys. And until next week, take care.
Yes, Crypto Cola Show. That is Crypto Cola Show. That is Crypto Cola Show. That is Crypto and Cola Show. There you go, man.